Да започваме. Я да видим сега. Hello everyone. This video will not be about a game showcase or video series. It will not even be a what to expect video. This video was supposed to be about the national holiday and you could say the birthday of the third Bulgarian nation, explaining its historical background in more depth and telling you as a Bulgarian how proud I am for this legacy that the 3rd of March in 1878 has given us. Instead, this conflict in Ukraine that was supposed to be a special military operation that was supposed to break the Ukrainians, same like the German Blitzkrieg in 1939, did with most of Europe, has turned into what I describe as a second winter war. But is it? With numerous sanctions being imposed on the Russian Federation and the ban on every non-Western media that is labeled as fake news and foreign propaganda, the TV now shows only one perspective. But as everyone that tries to give a proper analysis, we must look from the perspective of both sides. We are denied that by our governments in the West. Quote, West. I'm not great with presenting information in very exotic and spicy dish. I'm not trying to be like the big channels, of course. Instead, I will give you my perspective and the reason why the war was started. I have already lost a few friends because of this war, so if I lose a few more, so be it. This is the perspective of one Bulgarian on the conflict between two Slavic brothers, between two Orthodox brothers, between Ukraine and Russia. Just to let you all know, I am not for this war. Very much against it actually. I was hoping for a peaceful solution, but as we all know, if diplomacy does not work, well, guns start firing. And this counts for all nations. We have seen it through history. Okay, so I did said I was supposed to make a video about the 3rd of March. Well, I'm not gonna go too much into details here, so that I will still have stuff to say when I decide to make the video. But here's the thing. We Bulgarians had great empires, lots of influence on the Balkans and Eastern Europe. Rivalry with neighbors, territorial exchange, trade, religious influence, alliances, counter-alliances, the list goes on and on. It's a part of our history. But everything changed when the Ottomans came in and beat the shit out of us, the old empires of the Balkans, including the Byzantine Empire, the Bulgarian Empire. This caused large waves of Bulgarians to migrate to different parts of today's Ukraine and Bessarabia. Some of those Bulgarians rejoiced the fact that the third Bulgarian nation has emerged from the ashes of the Ottomans. Those who could left everything behind and returned to bolster the Tsardom that was created. By the way, here is something real quick that I posted in my server a month or so ago. Yes, every self-respecting Bulgarian that knows history even a little bit will respect the Russians for what they have done for us. Freedom is one of the greatest gifts a man could ever receive. And yes, I know that the Russian emperor probably did not do it from the kindness of his heart. Bulgaria was always on a strategic position in the Balkans, and we would have been a great foothold for the Russian Empire if things went as they planned. Thick Bulgarian Empire, anyone? Remember when I said that some Bulgarians returned to their homeland? A lot, however, did not, and stayed in Bessarabia, Odessa, Moldova, and other parts of Ukraine. I could not complete this video for a few weeks due to the fact that more and more information was surfacing literally every hour, not every day, every hour, about what was actually happening in Ukraine. Especially the first days were hell to tell a report if it was legit, a propaganda, or fake news. But one thing that I saw consistent was the fact that minorities in Ukraine are heavily mistreated, softly said. Not just Russians, but they do take most of the attention. From what I hear is that most rights and freedoms of the minorities have been taken away. Schools that teach in Bulgarian have been closed. Names are being changed forcefully. Atrocities are being committed, like burning people alive, stealing their property, beating the shit out of them, and other stuff that I don't want to talk about too much or even show footage because it's really gruesome. I hear comments from Bulgarians in Ukraine like, "We lost everything after 2013. We're not being treated as human beings and we fear for our lives. We're just waiting for Russia to save us, to give us our like back." That last part made me stop for a little bit. Remember people, this is how I see things. This video is about how I see the conflict. I'm not gonna try to showcase every possible scenario, what every media says it's true. It's not the purpose of the video. And about that last sentence, it opened my eyes. Bulgaria, the parliament is not doing anything about these people. I learned about this just a month ago. Where is Bulgaria when these people, our blood, our souls, are being mistreated and literally being forcefully assimilated? The Ukrainian government is deleting the history of these people, and my nation is doing nothing about it. I'm truly ashamed. And the Russian-speaking population of Ukraine is also suffering. Even a good word about Russia labels you now as a Russian collaborator and a traitor in the Ukrainian regime. One of the reasons Putin declared this special military operation, as he said, is to liberate people of the Donbas republics, but also to denazify Ukraine, as most of these atrocities are being executed by Ukrainian paramilitaries and literal assholes that LARP as Nazis. Because we have seen how quickly they get beaten in battle. Literally the first Azov battalion got annihilated in the first 5 hours of the conflict. So much for being the SS being elite units and stuff like that. But many of their supporters continue to make things and that I would call war crimes, just to save their skin or cleanse Ukraine from the unworthy. I'm glad to know that at least Russia has the decency to put a stop to this. This conflict reminds me so much of the last Russo-Turkish war of 1877 to 1878. Russia, yet again, had to intervene to protect their people and people close to them by culture. Do you know who else did a similar thing? The British Empire. Yes. Do you know what a gunboat diplomacy is? Basically, it's parking your fleet at enemy ports and blockading them to send a message and assert dominance. Quite a show, actually. If you're watching on the port. This is known as the Don Pacifico affair, and it was a very crucial decision for the British. A British subject known as Don Pacifico, as the name goes, was attacked and vandalized by Greeks in Athens. The decision to blockade all ports of Greece until the Greek king accepted to compensate Don Pacifico for his troubles after 2 months since the start of the blockade. This decision by the British Crown showed to the world that the empire still holds great power, prestige, and cares for its subjects. Greece, however, was jointly protected by France, Russia, and the empire, which made the situations worsen between them, similar to what happens today with Russia, eh? So, as far as I can tell, it is right for Russia to seek justice and provide protection for their people, even in foreign land. And especially for people who want to be left alone by an oppressive neo-Nazis. It is something that every self-respecting nation with strong influence should strive to do. Ensure security and protection for their citizens and their people in general, no matter where they might be on this bloody universe. Of course, these are not the only reasons why the conflict was started, but this is not the scope of the video. For me, it is the most important thing that at least one nation stepped up to break the cursed practices by the neo-Nazis who are left to do as they please by the government in Ukraine. Remember that it's not only Russians and Bulgarians in Ukraine as minorities. There's also Polish, Hungarians, Romanians, and other smaller minorities. Well, what else can I say? For me, that's the most important reason. If your people are suffering, you should do something about it. Well, this is it from me. I'll disable the comment section for this video because I expect a lot of flack for what I said. Call me Russophile, call me Putinist, call me murderer, call me whatever you want. You have to be satisfied with the like and dislike button to express your opinion about what I said. Thank you for watching this video, wish you a good day, and ciao ciao! Yes, so I did say that I learned about most of these things like a month ago, and that the Bulgarian government is not doing anything about the Bulgarian people in Ukraine. I want to give an example for change. I have always read that if you do something just for the camera, like you give money to a poor person and then show yourself on the internet how you are such a humble person and are ready to help the poor. Gave it a few thoughts, you know, like 2 weeks ago, and I took a decision. I will show it to you guys. As of making this video, I delivered a humanitarian package to an organization that makes humanitarian convoys to Ukraine to help the Bulgarian population there, because most of their shops are empty already, and Ukraine is kind of collapsing, and since 2013 things were not great for the Bulgarian minorities in Ukraine, so I wanted to do something about it, not just to watch passively and let things happen. I believe that sharing this act of mine with you guys might inspire you to become more active subjects in your nations, because just staying on the sidelines and letting things happen is kind of passive. We have to be active if we want to change the situation in the world. Call me humanitarian box 20 if you want, but I believe it was the right thing to do. And I also want to be more active for myself and to inspire you guys to do the same. Okay, thank you for watching again. See ya!